StockPulse, we are back on location at the StockPulse Silver Symposium Year 2. I've got Michael DiRienzo from the Silver Institute, and what better of a guy to break down silver than you, Michael. So I appreciate you making the trip here. Missed you last year, a tough sob story, but here you are this year.
Rob,
appreciate it.
I'm just really pleased to be here. It's been several years since I've been back. And I think this is one of the more unique conferences in the silver space across the world. It's true believers, it's the players, it's investors, it's the mining companies. You just bring a great deal of people to the table here. And it's an interesting 2 days, and I look forward to coming back in the future.
Yeah, well, of course, I look forward to having you back.
Sure.
So let's get into what you do here. Silver.
Sure.
Obviously, I can see the price point. It's a little off here. The vibe seems to be pretty electric, though, for a metal that's kind of been in the tank for lack of a better word. But I think we're all excited here. We're a little bit of a tight knit family, I think. Mm-hmm. We're silver bugs. So I guess break it down for us here.
Well, look at 2020 was a banner year for silver in terms of the price. 2021 was another great year. This year's not going to be so high with respect to the annual average silver price. I mean, you look at the numbers, I look at the numbers, and it's hard to get to $25 as an average from where we are now, given the fact that we only have 4 or 5 months left in the year. That being said, the fundamentals of the metal are extremely strong. We are forecasting a 6% increase in industrial demand for this year. We think that investment demand is going to be rather flat. We can see that. The one caveat to that is India. India has put exchange-traded products on the market for the first time, both gold and silver, and they're importing a boatload of silver. They imported 1,750 tons of silver in just July. And when you compare that with 15 tons the previous July, you can see where that's going. It's going somewhat to industrial, but we believe it's all going to investment. So that hopefully near the end of the year, that'll help prop up the silver price. In terms of jewelry and silverware, we see another good year for those as well. We think there's going to be probably a 3% overall rise in supply to the market. That includes mine supply, and that includes industrial scrap.
So when you're evaluating silver here, Michael, how much goes into the economy? How much goes into inflation? How much goes into that in evaluating the metal?
Well, when we look at the metal itself, we think that it's not reacting like it did in the late 1970s, but neither is gold. Okay, look what we have, not yet, but look what we have here. We have threats of recession across the world. We have highest inflation we've seen, at least in this country, in over 40 years. But why is silver and gold, for that matter, not performing as such? Well, it's the dollar. Okay, the dollar is doing extraordinarily strong. It's the interest rate hikes. It is scaring some investors who are putting their money into cash. Some are putting it into crypto, but they're not going into the hard assets like they did traditionally.
Yeah. What's going to change that vibe, do you think?
I think what's going to change, I think what is going to change is when these inflation numbers start to come down. I really do. I'm not so convinced that there's going to be a recession because I think we're already in a recession, quite frankly. So does it get worse or does it get better? Nobody really knows. But what we saw last week out of the conference at Jackson Hole was pretty much a unified approach to continue to move on a very hawkish pace with respect to interest rate hikes. And that has increased the price of everything. When you talk to these authorized dealers in the United States, the 13 of those that are contracted to the United States Mint, they can't keep those coins in their vaults fast enough. The premiums at some entities are through the roof.
$14 on an Eagle.
$14
Explain that phenomenon
coin.
To me.
I can't. It's inexplainable. And it's also not good. I do believe that we need to talk to the mint, and we have, about putting another mint online to help the production process of the planchettes. And not only for today and the short term, but for the long term. So we can plan so they can plan. And we've met with the mint and given them marketing plans. We've identified various mints here in the United States that they can use. Now, they're beholden to legislative language that says these are the requirements that need to be done for the planchettes. But I'm not asking them to loosen them. I'm asking them to identify and hire the mints that are currently in the United States that could help with this strong demand.
So for those investors that might be on the fence about silver, break it down for them in a real quick message on how important it is.
I will. So the thing about silver, it is truly a metal that surrounds us all. It is everywhere we look. These cameras, these lights, your iPhone, your computers, your automobile, everything relies on silver. Why? Because it's the best conductor of electricity in terms of metals. Copper is second, silver is number one. That's why silver is used in solar panels. And part of the green tech revolution, silver is used in solar panels because it has longevity. It's the best metal in terms of the paste that you apply to the solar panels. And secondly, when you look at electric vehicles, when you look at hybrid vehicles, when you look at automobiles in general, over 65 million ounces of silver were used last year in automobiles. Now they're not used in the batteries, but where they are used is in the contacts, okay? Anything that turns on a car, the infotainment systems, the safety systems, moving your seat back and forth, they all require silver. And as this green revolution continues, and as governments across the world begin to seriously focus on less reliance on fossil fuels, which I think they're doing, silver will have a more important role going forward.
Yeah, and I guess at the end of the day, we need the supply chain amped up a little bit here. So you got a bunch of junior mining companies around here who've frankly just been beat up here,
Yes.
Not very popular, but at the end of the day, they've got the goods, or at least they need to hurry up and find the goods.
They've got the goods because we're going to require a lot more silver if this transition to a less reliance on fossil fuels is going to occur. And we see that. We see that in the state of California with new residential buildings required to have solar panels. This EV car mandate. I mean, I don't know how in the heck they're going to reach that by 2030. With no silver, we're not allowed to mine in our country anymore. The one thing that I can say that this administration is starting to focus on is the mine permitting process. And they have a working group right now, and I just watched an interview with Rich Nolan at the National Mining Association, and they're really coalescing behind, we need to mine here. Because if you can't grow it, it needs to be mined, right? That's all there is to it.
Michael, how do people keep an eye on you for your insights?
I'm sorry?
How do people keep an eye on you?
Oh, sure. So listen, we have the website, silverinstitute.org. We're also on Twitter at Silver Institute, and we also have a dedicated LinkedIn page. You can find it simply by looking up the Silver Institute. We've really ramped up our social media campaign this year, Rob. We're putting out 2 good quality tweets or LinkedIn posts a week, all talking about various aspects of the silver complex. So one could be about silver's use in automobiles. I put one out today on Silver News, which is a bi-monthly free publication that all your readers and listeners can sign up for at our website. But we also put out things like, did you know that silver is for champions? For example, the Super Bowl trophy, made of silver. Major League Baseball trophy, made of silver. The 2 trophies that will be awarded in a week or so up in New York at the US Open, made out of silver. America's Cup, you can go down the list.
Stanley's Cup.
Or the Stanley's Cup, one of the more famous ones, which turns into a drinking vessel in the off season, all made of sterling silver. So I encourage your listeners to follow us on Twitter, follow us on LinkedIn, to sign up for our publications, which are all free. They're all available in PDF format at silverinstitute.org. We'll send you interesting updates on the market. We'll send you our press releases, and we'll also send you the bi-monthly silver news. So I encourage your listeners to follow us and engage with us as we move forward.
Okay. All things silver. Michael DiRienzo, Silver Institute. Thanks for the time, Michael.